I'm literally going to walk you through my Airtable setup, which is basically a project and content management dashboard that I've created. I created this at the very beginning of this year, or I started working on some form of it at the very start of 2023 because I knew that I would have a lot of content to create. And one of the things that is a really hot topic right now is the idea of burnout. It's been a topic, right? It's a thing for all business owners. It just is. Sometimes we do so much that we end up finding ourselves doing nothing because we're overloaded and burnt out and stressed. I want to make sure that we create room in our calendars and also create systems that are going to help us to thrive in our businesses. You are a coach, and so your core service is serving other people as a coach. However, you need to be able to leverage video marketing, reels, video on demand, live streaming, all forms of video marketing in order to be able to really get your business out there, especially this year. Video is number one. It's what you start with, and then you can create all forms of content, whether it be audio or images, quotes, reels. You can create all the other types of content from a single live stream, but video is king and queen, and it's the ace right now. So I want to help you to do that more effectively. And I'll walk you through what I was searching for. What I was looking to do is I was searching for a way to keep up with the content that I was creating, both video on demand, so produced videos, because I'm doing more of that this year. I was trying to find a way to keep up with reels and keep up with live streaming, and I needed it all to be in a singular space. I also wanted to keep track of when I do lives that are solo versus when I do lives that include a guest. And in addition, one final thing I was trying to keep up with. And again, this resonates with most of you, I bet, because we all have so many irons in the fire right now. I also was trying to keep up with doing better at creating emails and social media on the regular. So you can find yourself with systems that have you using 500 different spaces and platforms to track all of that. And what I wanted to do is to keep from tripping over myself, to have it organized in such a way when I knew the dates that things needed to be done and knew the dates that they needed to be published and made public to my audience. And that was what I was looking for. Basically, I wanted to figure out how to do all of that in a way where I wasn't tripping over myself. And one final thing, I almost forgot this. As you are a creator and a coach, what you're going to find yourself being asked to do is to also participate in different summits and conferences. And so you're going to be a guest for other people and you're creating content for them too. That is something you have to keep track of as well. We have to manage all of this. And many of us are servicepreneurs who are solo. So we don't have huge teams yet. And I'm not sure that I ever will, honestly, but we don't have teams of people that are handling every single facet of all these things. I just said we need to get done, but they need to be done and on time. And they need to be done with excellence. So I was looking for different versions of tools, and I'm going to pop up my screen here in just a second. I'm going to share several tools that I was looking to use, and then I'm going to share with you why I ended up with Airtable. Okay. All right. Switching over. Okay. So we're inside of Airtable, but I'm going to walk you through first where I started. So initially, when I was looking for I had Airtable, but I wasn't quite sure I wanted to use Airtable because the benefit I think I ended up finding is that there's a free version that's pretty robust and it has a lot of features to it, but I still just wasn't convinced because I couldn't find a template that was already created. And a lot of the other tools I'm about to show you have templates where other people have created a content marketing planner, right? And all you have to do is just get theirs and plug in your stuff, which is great, but it was not capturing all the things I just shared with you that as someone who is a coach and a video creator, it wasn't capturing all of that. I still was finding myself in multiple places. So I looked at Airtable initially because I knew that there was a free version that was pretty robust and allowed me to do a lot. But I still just wasn't sure about it because there was no template. So what I ended up doing is I went to Notion, and inside of Notion, and I'll see if I can pull up the one that exists, I did buy a template that I actually liked. Thomas Frank actually has a Notion dashboard for content, and I'll see if I can find it. Let me just do a quick search. So here it is, Creator's Companion. So I created this Creator's Companion using Thomas Frank's Notion dashboard. And what I do like about it is that it allows you to define the channels for what you're creating content. So I had YouTube and Facebook Live, Stream Bosses Academy, Reels, Shorts, and TikToks, Amazon Influencer. So I have all these different spaces where I was creating content. But the more I dug into this particular dashboard, the harder it became for me to use. I still would encourage you, if you're someone who is a visual learner and you like to use Notion, I think Thomas Frank's Creator's Companion, it could be a good tool for you. So for me, it got just really complicated. It has a lot in it. So you can see all of this, right, is inside of the space. If you take the time to learn it, I think it'll be okay. The second tool I use besides Notion, ClickUp. Now, there are a couple of folks that are inside of Stream Bosses Academy that have successfully been able to take existing templates, because again, that was one of my criteria. Is there a template? Is there something I can start with and just grow from? ClickUp has templates to help you with content marketing. And especially if you have a team, I know Nicolette Barrett of iRock Resumes has created something for her and her team to keep track of the content they're creating. But again, for me, the templates that exist right now in ClickUp, they weren't catching all of the things. A lot of people do love ClickUp. So that's number two. That's another option for you to look into if you're trying to create a content plan. ClickUp could be a successful space for you. For me, I just could never get it organized the way I wanted to. But I suggest if you try it, that you search for existing templates in their marketplace. I do have an affiliate link for ClickUp as well. But look, it's not super expensive. The other space I went to was Coda. So this is my third and final space before I walk you through what I finally ended up with and where I am right now. Coda, C-O-D-A, is a space that is very similar to Notion. You can see I'm oversized by 1,296%, which is crazy. I don't even have that much stuff in here. But because of the fact that I am oversized and I have too much data inside of this one dashboard in Coda, I instantly had to go to a paid account if I want to keep this active. I had my goals and initiatives for the year, my content pillars, which I'm going to show you in more depth in a second. I had all of this stuff in here, including an email journal where I could start to draft journals. I had my guest information and all of that in here. But even this became a little complicated. So I made a decision because I didn't want to pay the monthly fee, one, nor did I want to keep this complicated. I wanted to make something that I would use, where I could instantly go into the space and see what needs to be done, what I've done, and what I'm thinking about doing. And that's where Airtable became, I won't say a dream, but I went back to it and said, all these tables that I've set up inside of Coda, what if I pulled them over into Airtable and I was able to see just like a dashboard of exactly where things are? I believe that as service providers and as people who focus on coaching, but we're leveraging video marketing for our businesses, that we need better systems to simplify how we're using video so we can spend more time focusing on serving our clients. That's what I believe. So I'm going to be putting together a series of videos based on systems or focused on systems, as well as focused on different apps and tools that I use to stay streamlined. Because personally, in case any of you don't know this about me, I am juggling 1,000 things. I juggle not only my business, which is becoming darn near close to full time, but also a full time corporate job. So there's a lot on my plate. And in order for me to really be efficient and to continue to show up and to get the content done, the systems that I've created and adopted over the years are what keep me afloat. That's why I can talk about this. Okay, let's talk about Airtable. Airtable ended up becoming my home for my dashboard. This is where I'm creating my space for 2023's dashboard. And what you'll see is a couple of different things. So I'm going to walk you through how I tie this into my 2023 vision. I'm going to walk you through what I call content pillars, which I think are at the heart of any business where you're creating content. I'm going to walk you through my content plan. You can see this here on screen. And then I'm going to also share with you how guest interviews, how reels come into play, how sponsorships come into play, and how it creates, how all of this is now creating a list of things for me to do that I can then go in and check off. So I know when everything is happening at any given time. There's two places where I started. Let me explain real quick before I walk you through this. In order to create this dashboard, and in order for you to use any template that you decide to use, whether it be from ClickUp, Notion, any of that stuff, you need to have an idea of what you're going to be talking about. So everything has to start with your content, your core content themes or pillars, as we call it, okay? It starts there, but it also starts with you being clear on what you want to accomplish. So for the year, at the beginning, actually at the end of last year, I sat down in my think tank and I came up with 3 very specific goals for my business. These 3 things are things I want to achieve. And I tied them to each quarter. There are specific projects that I want to make sure are tied to those goals. There are projects that I need to achieve, and I'll scan you through that real quick here. Okay. So I'll show you what that looks like. Those projects are tied to quarters, and each of these projects are tied to specific goals. So the 3 main goals that I have, all of my projects and things that I need to, initiatives that I want to accomplish for each quarter of 2023 are shown in here. So they're part of another spreadsheet, and I have them organized by boards. So each quarter I know I've got these 3 big chunks that I want to make sure that I achieve in 2023 quarter 1 in order for me to make sure that I reach all 3 goals by the end of the year. This is what I need to do quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. Okay. So that's how I built out the first part. The second part was pillars. So goals and critical projects that I knew I needed to achieve. One of them being women owned and Black owned certified, to give you an example. I know I want to achieve that within quarter 1 or quarter 2 to reach the 3 goals. Pillars, if I'm going to do that, then I need to create specific content. And if I'm going to be constantly creating video content, email content, you name it, anything that I'm creating, it needs to be on topic. It needs to be relevant to the audience that I serve. The audience that I serve are coaches, consultants, and course creators. So that means there are very specific things that I want to talk about and not get off topic too far. What happens is a lot of times people just randomly decide, I'm going to talk about this today on YouTube or wherever. And the fail there is that you're not connecting with your audience because you may not be talking about something that's really relevant and that matters to them. So it was important to me to be clear on, here's my pillars. And these pillars are at the heart of everything I teach. When I do workshops, anything I do, it's going to be based on these pillars. So that's the reason the pillars are here. And in addition to creating the pillars, right, I also have subtopics of things that I talk about. And I also have hashtags that are tied into every part of this. So my hashtags are over here. Okay. So those are things that I want to let you know were foundational. First is number 1, what are my goals? Number 2, What are some big ticket projects that I can accomplish in order to reach those goals? And then 3, how does my content support that? And how does my content reach the people that I want to reach? So in the content plan, when we go into the content plan, because my calendar is pretty much filled up with what I want to talk about, let me give you some ideas of the things that I knew were types of content that I will be creating. So you can literally see my calendar here. I know when I'm going to create stuff. I know that the green means that I'm going to be live talking about this topic or meeting with this guest. I know that the red will be produced content or videos on demand or even reels that I need to record and then distribute or publish. So the green is live, the red is not live. It's video on demand that I've pre-recorded. But all of this is inside of my calendar, and so I can go month by month and see what kind of content I need to create. But in addition to that, I knew also in my calendar, I want to know not just what content do I need to create, but am I speaking at a summit? Because do I need to manage the promotions that I'm going to be doing for other people? Yes, you do need to manage that because you got stuff going out, but then you're also promising that you're going to promote for somebody else for their conference or summit. So I've put those in here as a content type. Now in Airtable, you're able to create options based on different types of content. So I have content I need to create for my membership program, digital courses, emails, live streams on Amazon, my guests, my solo live streams when I'm just on by myself, master classes I'm going to be teaching, reels I want to create, the summits or other speaking gigs, and then video on demand. So all of those types are here, and I was able to organize every piece of content that I know needs to be created in this table. And I can literally look across and say, hey, for January, I'm going to produce these pieces of content. I'm going to write these emails. I'm going to have this training or workshop information for Creator Day that we do with Stream Bosses Academy, or I'm going to have this for our training day. All of that is in here, right? And if it's still in progress, it stays on the table. If it's completed, I have it filtered to where I don't have to see it anymore because I've got a lot of work that's already been completed prior to today. You can also in Airtable filter out your content based on just a specific status. So some of these things are content that I have ideas about, but I haven't created a publishing date. So as you're gathering and brainstorming ideas about those content pillars that we talked about, you need a way to capture them so that you remember them. And sticky notes just don't work anymore. So whenever I come up with an idea, if there's something I think, oh, this could be a good topic, I'll pop that into this table with the bright idea status. So now I can come to this list if there's something I know I want to talk about, but I haven't quite created a script or an outline for yet, and I don't know when I'm going to do it. I can just populate this here. I can just add a new topic and then call it a bright idea so that it stays in my brainstorming list. If I want to keep track of progress and know, okay, so what are some things that are in the bright idea? What's planning? What's in progress right now? I know I have a couple of things I still need to do with the video, the live stream I did earlier this month, where I need to take it and repurpose it into social content. So it's still in my in progress feed. I know that I'm promoting the video bunch and I'm promoting something called Go Live Con this month. So that's here in progress. If there's anything I need to put aside because I don't have time for it, I have a category for putting it in hold. So I'm giving you this high level to say, anytime you create a system like this, it needs to tell you the information that you need right away. When I go in here to my Benefits of Live Streaming for Coaches video that I recorded earlier this month, you'll see my script, you'll see the thumbnail, you'll see where I still need to create. I actually have a carousel and quotes, images, and reels and stories based on this specific topic that I want to put into my social media feed so that it keeps driving people back to the video. And One thing you may not have noticed is every single piece of content that I create is tied to two things. It's tied to a call to action, which is really important. Because if there's no call to action, for me, it's not of value. I shouldn't be creating it. Every piece of content should lead people down a path. It should tell them where they should go to next. We talked about this last night too in our live stream. So I knew that benefits of live streaming for coaches needed to promote the idea of people being a part of Stream Like a Boss community. Right now I'm promoting Let's Go Live Challenge. So there are pieces of content that I'm creating that are going to give people this call to action. I know that as I'm promoting the Go Live Con event, the Let's Go Live Challenge is one of the things that I'm promoting and letting people be driven to. When you're creating something for someone else as a summit, you can also store, you know how they create affiliate information for you? You can store their social media posts and captions in here, any images that they give you. So all of this I've built into the dashboard so that I literally can come in here and see at any given moment, what's my to-do list? What's still left for me to do this month? If it seems like a lot, it can be. But just imagine you trying to hold all of this up here or in a paper notebook. This is why we miss opportunities, why we miss out on brand sponsorships and deals, why we miss out on potential clients, people that have reached out to us in Instagram or wherever else, and we can't operate because we're overloaded and we're missing deadlines. When you have a system in place, and it may not be as complicated as mine, but when you have a system in place, it gives you a track to run on. Now, I say complicated, but now that it's set up, now that I have my dashboard created, I literally can just go in here and add a topic or add a piece of content, fill in the blanks, and I'm good to go. Let me show you what I mean by that when it comes to guests. So my guest interviews are also a part of content that I'm creating. When I invite a guest or a guest registers to be on my show, they fill out a form. That form feeds their information into a space. It becomes a part of my guest calendar. I can have all of their information, which I'm not going to show you their full info, but I can even create something called an interface in Airtable that gives me the ability to quickly come in here, pull their thumbnail, get their bio, see what date they're going to be interviewing, see if they ask for a practice test or not. So at any given moment, I can go in here and pull all the information I know is coming up. That way I can keep on track and keep them on track. And all of this is fed, my guest interview process is automatically fed into the content plan as well. It becomes a part of the overall calendar. So now I know, oh, wait a minute, I have an interview on the 26th with DJ Strick. I need to make sure I don't try to schedule a solo live stream that day because I have a guest interview. So thinking through how all these things, these pieces of content tie together makes things so much easier. I also have my reels scheduled out. I've added this to be a part of my content plan as well. So reels is another content type that you will see in my planned content, but it has to have a purpose for me. I know some people just say, just entertain people and make them aware. That's true. You do want to make them aware of your brand, but you also need to tie it to a call to action. So I'm being very intentional about the reels I'm about to create. And those are part of the dates and in the calendar as well. So I have a store of different types of reels that I'm creating. Some of this I came up with on my own. Some of it I actually came up with by subscribing to different content creator channels such as Pixie Stock. Pixie Stock has an amazing Reels planner. She has a whole course that teaches you how to leverage Reels. Also, Jada West is a TikTok influencer who I've worked with in the past, who I absolutely love. Jada provided me with ideas for short video clips. So all of that goes into the Reels tab. And then once it has a date, it gets put into the plan for the content planner. So one more thing I'm going to show you in here. I have my guest, I have my reels, I have my live versus my pre-recorded video all planned out. I have all of my different promotional events. So Let's Go Live Challenge, I know when that's going to happen. I have other people's promotional events all in one place. What happens when you are looking to create a task list of things to do? So what I've done is created an automation, which again, all of this is inside of Airtable. And Airtable right now, I'm not paying them a monthly subscription to do it. I've just set it up once, and now I can use this throughout the rest of the year. But I set up a task automation. Now, I am a geek, so I'm going to be real clear with you on this. That part was not easy. But what I did, I'm going to explain it and then I'll show it to you. What I did is I automated this. Anytime Airtable sees that I've checked a box next to a piece of content, it's going to look at it and say, what type of content is that? Is it a reel? Is it a solo live stream? Is it a guest live stream? What is it? Depending on what type of content it is, when I check that box, Airtable automatically now, because of the automation I created, sets up a checklist for that piece of content. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. Okay, I explained it first, but I'm going to walk you through. So when I check a box, and you'll see that I've checked boxes here. Here, let me do this. I've checked boxes here, right? What it's going to do is it's creating a checklist for each of those pieces of content. And here's my templates for the checklist, but the task to do, now I know, oh yeah, for that how to stream like a pro for business, which is going to be my next video on demand I'm creating. I know I need to go ahead and brainstorm the idea. I need to research the topic, plan out the video, promote it, go live. So I know all the steps that need to be taken in order for this to be complete. I know for the one earlier that I told you is still in progress, that I've recorded already, that I still have these 3 pieces of task or 3 tasks that are left to do. I still need to create the shareable content, make sure it gets scheduled on social media, and I need to look at my metrics for this piece of content. So that's something that is a little bit more advanced, but it's doable inside of Airtable. And because of that, I am loving that this is going to become the space, my home for creation. So there's a lot you can do inside of Airtable. I wanted to give you this test drive overview because I think we're going to be starting to record in March. In April, I will have a course that will literally break down every piece of my content strategy for live streaming. It'll break it down by what do you do for brainstorming? What do you do for research? What do you do to ensure that you've captured all of this in one place? And I will templatize what I'm creating in Airtable. It's not ready yet, but I'm going to turn it into a plug and play template that any of you can purchase if you decide you want to. That way you can take what I've already created and built out and simply put in your information in certain spaces and it will populate for you. Yes, it's going to be a product that I will sell. You need to have a system. It could be a super simple system, or it could be something that's a little bit more complex. But the reason why I built this out the way that it is because it literally gives me everything I need at any given moment. So if a huge sponsor calls me tomorrow and says, Tanya, we want to sponsor your content. We want to be the people that, promote and support you for the next 3 months, the next 90 days, and here's our contract and agreement. I can go into my Airtable and say, let me see what's on my calendar right now. If someone calls tomorrow and says, hey, we want you to be a part of our summit, I can go and look at my calendar and see, wait a minute, I don't want to promise you this because I already have these number of pieces of content that I have to create for my community, for my clients, and I've got this big thing coming up. It's going to be in conflict. So I can't do that right now, but here's some other dates in the future that I can see all of that because I've put a system in place that allows me to do that. Most important thing I want you to take away from what I'm sharing with you is it's not so much that you see my big system, my dashboard that I've created, and you want to copy it. It is that you need to find a system. You need to adopt a strategy that works for you to Stay on top of the content you need to create, ensures that your content is always relevant, ensures that your content always has a call to action that's driving people through your sales process, and allows you to make adjustments when you need to. If you want to try something, because mine isn't ready for you yet. I need to simplify it. After I make it flow the way I want it to, finally, then I'm going to empty out my content and streamline it so all you have to do is plug in your stuff, see what you need to see, pull any reports you need to pull. But I'm still working on that, and it's probably going to take me a couple more months to do that. So that's it.